The business is Peak Amp Instruments. It's me and my co-founder Frank, and we started this company a few months back. We saw a need. We saw a need to replace parts before they fail. And really, how this came about was here at the house where I am currently. We had our HVAC system kept failing, and we had to have the techs coming out and be like, oh, okay, you'll get that part in a month. Right. So and I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this. So really, honestly, that's where it came from. So I started actually calling some of the vendors that they work with, some of these, HVAC companies. I was like, well, okay, where do you get your parts? So I started calling some of those HVAC places. They're like, oh yeah, we work with some of these. And then I started calling the vendors. I'm like, okay, how do I get those parts? And they were like, well, HVAC is great, but you really want to get into data centers. But after hearing that like 3 times from different vendors, I was like, I should probably look into these data centers.
Yeah.
My role at Peak Amp Instruments is sales and operations, and really just continue to grow and do all the fundraising and just get more and more customers in. And Frank, our co-founder's role is very much the big tech, the data side of it. He's heads down building the predictive platform that we're building out. And I'm really excited about it. He's really excited about it.
And there are so many applications for what I presume is his skill set.
Yeah.
And there's almost infinite ways you could go about it. And that was one of the questions what I was going to ask you was why you chose data centers.
Yeah.
So you've already kind of explained that, but what were they saying about data centers?
Really the biggest feedback that I got was it's the future. It's the growth. There's so many parts. There's so much movement. So not only have some of these data centers been around for 15, 20 years or so, but there's more and more built every day across the country. And even with the government helping to fund some of these and helping to move it forward, the speed in which the data center industry is moving is just really astronomical at this point. So really that's what, got us in. And the more and more I read about it, the more interested I was. And then the more contacts I made, I'm like, yeah, this is a great space for us to be in right now.
Yeah. Well, and it's an interesting space for a lot of manufacturers, I would say, especially in, the electronics side of things, wire harnesses, PCBs, PCBAs, you've got your, your fixtures, you've got your housings, so the fab shops. So I think it's intelligent really knowing that that's where the area of growth is for a lot of different types of companies to kind of say, how can I position myself to kind of take advantage of this growth?
Yeah, you're spot on. Not only is it, the data, we're talking about the data centers, right? But to your point, Nate, there's so many companies that need to then work with those data centers and work with the contractors that are working and building out and maintaining the centers.
Right.
So, that's where the manufacturing side of it really comes in is, okay, how do we even get in with some of these, and how do we get our products in the door with some of these? So, that's a lot of what I've been, that we've been building over the past several months here.
Hey, I'm Nate Wheeler. I am the host of Manufacturing Insiders Podcast. Really want to thank you for joining today. I hope that you learned some really great insights from this manufacturing leader that you're about to hear from. I also hope that you'll go ahead and hit that like button on the video and subscribe to our channel so you can see more of the stuff that comes out as we're continuing to publish content. Every like, every subscribe really helps us get this message out. And the message that we're sharing is really just a message of hope for manufacturers. I understand, I work with you guys every day. I understand how many different obstacles are in your faces, from technology to government regulations to competition from foreign and domestic markets. And I really want to share strategies with you on how to deal with these issues. And I think there's no better way to learn than hearing directly from somebody that solves some of these challenges. Thanks for watching today, and look forward to seeing you soon.
So have you been able to open up some conversations with some data centers?
Yeah. So we have had conversations with data centers. There's actually one opening up down the road here in Illinois in a couple months, and I've been talking with people there. I've been talking with companies. Like an Element Critical has been a really great resource to talk with them just about really what are they up to and what do they need. So getting some of those contacts in.
And so you can actually,
yeah.
You said, what was the name of the organization?
Element Critical is one of the data centers that we have talked to.
Element?
Yep, Element. Yeah, Element Critical.
Element Critical. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm interested to hear kind of like what was your approach? How did you get a contact there, and how open are they as far as what they need and what?
Yeah, much of it has just been LinkedIn contacts, reaching out, cold networking. I've tried the Apollo CRM route that we have. Emailing, getting up in sequences, really just selling and doing like the cold emails, but those don't really go anywhere. So a lot of those reaching out and building those connections has been super helpful. And have they been helpful? Yeah, they've been helpful in a sense of understanding what their needs are. And really when I was talking about, okay, we have a predictive analytics platform that we're building out to help you figure out when a part needs to be replaced. They were like, wow, that's amazing. Like, when can we get on this? So, just some of that initial conversations have been fantastic.
So with most, predictive analytics tools, the big challenge is having enough data to feed it to be able to make those predictions. So what's your approach there? Like, how are you getting access to the ordering patterns of, enough critical mass of companies to know?
That's a really great question, and that is one that we've been solving, at least from the start. And we had this vision of, okay, we need a lot of data to do this. So phase one was very much setting up our website, getting some initial parts on there, just talking with some vendors and be like, hey, can we sell your parts? Our site is BigCommerce, and really we have access, the ability to have hundreds of thousands of products on there. So we started off with Dwyer products actually, and that led to more and more products just as I kept reaching out to different vendors, like, hey, can we get these products listed on there? And I kept scaling it, just, okay, what does a data center need? And getting more of those products just on the site. And now we have access to refrigerants and carbon dioxide and just different nitrogen and just various things like that really helps in a data center. And how do we get that information then? How do we scale? Much of it comes from our beta that we just rolled out here for our bill of materials upload tool. So really what will happen is a customer will upload their bill of materials, and then we'll source like whether or not we have that in our facilities or if we need to get it from somewhere else. Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Apologies. So whether or not we need to get it from somewhere else. Sorry.
Allergies these days, huh?
Seriously. So that's a lot of what we've been working on. And then third part is that predictive analytics side of it that Frank is building out.
Okay.
Yeah, and back to you.
Yeah. So so the gathering of data, which this is a really, really interesting concept, because picture a place where anyone could go. If you're in the maintenance department and you have a list of 50 replaceables that they might last 3 months, they might last 3 years, but you have a place where you can go and be able to plan exactly when you're going to have to replace all of these items. And I mean, this could expand way beyond just the HVAC system. I mean, I guess what I would think about is what are the most commonly replaced items in a facility?
Sure.
And maybe HVAC is one of those areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and to your point, like filters, like air filters is one of the biggest ones that just needs to be replaced every 3 months, every 90 days. Really, a lot of it depends on like the spec sheets, right? Of like how often do we need to replace it? Right. But as we go through the data, and we'll say, okay, this the spec sheet says 90 days on this, but after working with hundreds of data centers and facilities, it might actually be like 74 days that this needs to be replaced. So then with our platform and our distribution network, we can get it there at day 72. So the way it doesn't have to sit around the facility or just stay in a back room or whatever. So we'll get it there a couple days before it needs to be restocked or replaced, and then we can again set it up for another 74 days or so.